Hello there everyone, hi, welcome to another video. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Neeva, I'm an American, married to a German, and we currently live in Germany, and I make all sorts of videos about what it's like to live in Germany as an American. And today's video is basically going to be a Q&A where I'm going to answer all of the questions that you have all asked me over on my Instagram. So if you want to be part of future Q&A videos, head over to my Instagram and follow me there so you'll know and you'll get to ask your questions. I basically asked everyone what kind of things they wanted to know about me, what things they wanted to know about my life here in Germany, and you guys definitely came through with a bunch of questions. I'm gonna try to answer as many of them as I possibly can. So if you're curious about any of that, keep watching. Alright, so the very first question on my list is, why do you live in Germany? This question is pretty simple to answer, and the reason is basically just because my husband is German. So we were sort of debating if we would live in Germany or if we would live in the United States, and we ended up deciding on Germany for a few reasons. When we decided to move here, it was really just a question of which country was best suited for us and our needs, and in the end we decided that was Germany. And one of the main reasons we felt that Germany was the right decision is because we knew that we could both go to school here for free. And this actually leads me into the next question that I have, which is, was machst du beruflich? Or what is your, basically your profession or your job? The reason that we wanted to come to Germany is because we both wanted to be able to go to university for free. In the end, unfortunately, within the exact same year that we moved here, university in Baden-Württemberg became no longer free for foreign students, which was incredibly frustrating because we moved, we started our life, my husband began his Ausbildung, his vocational training program, and after all that happened, then they changed the rules right as I was planning to apply to universities here. So we decided it was better for me to sort of wait on going to school because we didn't want to be spending this much money when I could have just gone to school in the States. And we decided to hold off on me getting my education and let my husband finish his education, and then when he finished, we would go somewhere where I could do mine. So I hope that kind of makes sense and clarifies things. So currently I do not have a university degree. I don't do anything professionally speaking, but I have had a handful of other sort of jobs in Germany. My very first job in Germany was actually at a pub working as a bartender, which was really weird because I had never been a bartender. I didn't know anything about making drinks or beer or any of that, but these people decided to hire me even though I barely spoke a word of German. And yeah, that's what I did. I literally learned to make different cocktails and different drinks and how to pour beer and all of that kind of stuff. And that was my very first job. Then we moved to a different city and I had a job working in a clothing store, which I'm not going to name because it was a horrible job and I hated the atmosphere there, and it was just really terrible, and I quit the job very quickly because I just felt uncomfortable and bad. I won't get into all the details and I won't name the store, but yeah, moving on. And my next job, my most recent job, was working in a natural cosmetics store. Unfortunately, back in October, I actually lost this job, basically just due to the entire pandemic crisis and everything that's been going on. All shops got closed and there were lockdowns and stuff like this. So over the past few months, I've basically been unemployed here in Germany, which has been really, really frustrating. It's been incredibly difficult to get work here because shops are opening and then closing and then opening and closing, so nobody wants to hire new people. But now everything is opening up again, or it seems like it's going to be staying open. It's sort of hard to say. So hopefully in the next couple of months, I'll be able to get work again. Alright, the next question I have is, how do Germans feel about your accent, and are they surprised when you speak German? Okay, so this is kind of funny because actually I find that when I'm speaking German, people usually think that I'm British. I don't know if that's normal for Americans or if my German just somehow sounds British. I really don't know what the case is, but either way, people always assume I'm British when I speak German. Germans are never surprised when I speak in German. I think this is something that's kind of funny about Germany, is that people here really expect you to be able to speak the language. It is difficult to live in Germany and to not speak German. And I don't mean it's difficult to live, like you can certainly go to the grocery store and ask for potatoes and they'll know what you want. I just mean as far as communicating with your peers, communicating with colleagues and stuff like this, integrating into German society definitely requires you to speak German. At least in my experience, it does. So I think that Germans are not surprised when I can speak German because they sort of assume that you should be able to speak German if you live in Germany. Okay, so the next question says, Was war die größte Umstellung in Deutschland? So that basically means, what was the biggest change in Germany? Also ich glaube für mich die größte Änderung, abgesehen von der Sprache, klar, waren die verschiedenen Arten der Kommunikation. Ich hoffe, dass mein Deutsch okay ist und das Sinn macht. In der USA, Leute sind sehr vorsichtig und super nett und, wie kann ich sagen, sie machen immer Sugarcoating, Zucker an alles oder sowas. Hier in Deutschland, die Leute sind wirklich mehr klar und stumpfer. Stumpfer wie, I'm trying to basically say that people here are much more straightforward, like blunt and to the point. Stumpfer, ich glaube, das ist die richtige Wort, aber bitte korrigiere mich. Das ist überhaupt keine schlechte Sache, aber für mich, das ist nur anders. Kleine Dinge wie die Begrüßung auf der Straße sind wirklich nicht normal hier. Ich habe am Anfang definitiv ein paar komische Blicke bekommen, weil ich mache immer Hallo, morgen, da da da. Ich glaube, die Leute denken, warum lächelt diese Frau mich so an? So I just think that a little bit of the communication is just different in Germany, and it's definitely not a bad thing. It's just very different for me, and sometimes I have to remind myself not to be the weird American girl who's like smiling all the time and being super happy on the street and stuff. Okay, the next question is, was it difficult to integrate into German society? This is kind of a tricky question to answer, I think. For me, the answer is yes. I think it is difficult to integrate into German society, but I think that if you speak German, it makes it a lot easier. This is one of those things that I didn't really realize about coming to Germany because I think everybody has this idea that Germans speak really good English and speaking English is normal here. And while it is true that Germans can speak English, I find that a lot of people here prefer not to. Or at least it's difficult for them and they would prefer it to be difficult for you. I also think that it makes a huge difference if you come to Germany doing a school program or already having employment because it makes social activities and interactions a lot easier to come by. It was really difficult for me in the beginning because my husband was working full-time and I was at home alone. At first, I didn't have work because I couldn't find a job that would take me without speaking German, and also I didn't know a single person here. Without speaking the language and without knowing anybody here, I found it really difficult to integrate into society, and it wasn't until I found work that I slowly became able to make friends and communicate with people better. And this is by no means like a fault of Germans or German society. This is just something that I personally struggled with. I know a lot of people that have come to Germany already having school or jobs, things like this, and they found it really easy to integrate into society here, so it just makes a really big difference. And the last question is it difficult to be so far away from family and old friends? And the answer is 1,000,000% yes. It is one of the worst things about being in a foreign country. It is so incredibly hard. I'm somebody that grew up with a really close family and really amazing friends, and it's really, really difficult to not be able to see them every day and to only be able to talk to them at specific times of the day because of the time difference. If I'm in the middle of the day wanting to talk to my mom, I can't because she's asleep, and that is really hard. I miss my friends like crazy all the time. They all know it. I'm always talking to them and communicating with them about how hard it is to be away, and it's just never any easier. So yeah, that is definitely one of the most difficult things about living so far away, is that it is really hard to not be able to see your friends and family whenever you want to. Alright everyone, that is all the questions that I can fit into this video. I hope that you enjoyed listening to my answers, to my responses. If you did, please hit the like button so I know you enjoyed it. And if you would like to subscribe to my channel, that would be amazing because it tells me that I should keep making videos. So that is it for me in this video, and I will see all of you in the next one. Bye!